Last time on Disrupting Islamic Finance, we learned about the significance of the role of the World Islamic Banking Forum in bringing financiers and experts from far and wide to facilitate discussion on the development and growth of Islamic finance.
We're very proud of the role that we have played in furthering Islamic finance industry and promoting it not just in the region but around the world.
Also explored were the structures of Islamic finance and the challenges it faces.
The infrastructure for the conventional banking industry is there in every country, and people understand it. The Islamic banking industry's infrastructure is not there in every country. Not every country has got a special unit in their central bank to deal with Islamic banks and regulate them and monitor them and have good oversight over them. So without those structures, we cannot operate.
Well, the positive side is that continuously growth for the Islamic banking globally. On the other side, the challenges that we have is that we need to work on reaching out to potential investors and clientele globally.
Bahrain has managed to do the extra mile in Islamic finance because there was a political will to support and welcome Islamic finance. And there was a technical support as well as financial support extended by the Central Bank of Bahrain.
And how fintech is democratizing the global financial landscape.
There are lots of areas and great number of populations that have not yet dealt with banks, don't have bank accounts, don't have access to the financial services. And with the advent and the huge leaps in the world of technology, we hope and we look for the day when everybody can deal with these financial institutions that have bank accounts.
As the tech revolution spreads to the Islamic economy, it is being embraced by many looking to move Islamic finance into the digital space. This has inspired innovation, creativity, and enterprise.
This is Muhammad Chowdhury for Islam Channel at the World Islamic Banking Conference in Manama, Kingdom of Bahrain. And I'm very pleased to have with me Kareem Tabba. He's the Chief Growth Officer for a new investment firm called Wahed Invest. Welcome, Kareem.
Thank you for the introduction.
So tell us a little bit about Wahed and what this company does.
Absolutely. So Wahed is the world's first halal robo-advisor. A robo-advisor is basically an automated investment platform. Okay. So the way it works is you go to the website, you answer 8 simple questions, and then based on your risk profile, we recommend a certain portfolio for you. Okay. Then once you sign up and you fund your account, we would buy that portfolio automatically. So there's no action required on the user, no investment decisions to be made. It's very seamless, very accessible. Our minimum is just $100, so we're opening it up to pretty much everyone.
So going back to Robo, we know Robo Cup, for example. So Robo means it's automated.
The Robo refers to 2 parts. The first part is that the algorithms and the allocations are automated. So we built that. Our algorithms now understand that this risk profile needs to have this portfolio, for example. And then also the trading and the onboarding. Okay. So when you fund your account, the trades are automatically placed for you according to your portfolio weightings.
As Islamic finance grows, there do, however, remain limitations for the average Muslim who might want to invest by halal means, but with modest funds.
I think one of the challenges that Muslim investors who want to invest their money in a halal way find is, especially for small amounts, you don't have too many players or too many institutions that you can invest with.
Yeah, so that's actually our whole aim. We want to make halal investing accessible. Right now, if you want to go to or looking for some halal investing channel, it either asks for a high minimum investment, or there would be high fees, or it may be required that you lock up your money for a certain period of time. We're making sure that we remove all of that to make halal investing on par with conventional finance. So we're really pushing that, setting a new bar.
And how do you select your products, and how do you interact with Sharia scholars, or
so we have
make sure everything is Sharia compliant?
So we have a full-time ethical review board. It's headed by Sheikh Taha Abdul Basir in the US. They continuously monitor our portfolios. So it's not that it's a third party that monitors the the investments once a year. It's a continuous relationship. So before we add any investment to the portfolios, it has to go through their screening.
As Bahrain continues to gain ground as a financial services hub in GCC, the Central Bank of Bahrain recently announced new regulations for fintech organizations and startups in a bid to capitalize on this status and to expand this emergent area of finance in the Gulf.
The Central Bank of Bahrain remains a pioneer in this region. Many central banks in the Middle East have emulated the Central Bank of Bahrain. The central bank here remains very proactive. There is a special focus on Islamic banking by the Central Bank of Bahrain. This central bank is the first to issue a regulatory sandbox on fintech, on Islamic banking. We are the first central bank here to issue separate Sharia-related regulation to cover Islamic banks, meaning that you need more specialization in external auditors, in accounting principles, in IT, and so on and so forth.
I think the trends that everybody is talking about is, of course, thanks to CBB approval to have sandbox, and they basically give us a chance to test fintech products, and so we can have access to the world with our products.
In 2016, a national regulatory authority for Sharia was set up in the UAE to further promote the overall local Islamic economy. The development of Islamic finance in the region called for such a body to be set up to manage the challenges in advancing the sector.
Dubai is also focusing on attracting Islamic finance to Dubai. Is focusing on the halal economy. That's a particular focus for Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum.
Absolutely right. Having seen some of the success of the center take hold over time, the Dubai government, particularly Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, His Highness made the determination a little over 3 years ago to have Dubai drive for the region the Islamic economy. One of the reasons for that was the realization that to get Islamic finance to work, you need the underlying real economy to be functioning and to be robust. Not to mention, Mohammed, the fact that each of those verticals, whether it is tourism or halal food or cosmetics in of itself, are bona fide deep industries with great potential.
And how successful would you say DIFC has been in attracting Islamic finance to Dubai?
I think we've done our part, alhamdulillah. We've, over the years, had a large number of financial institutions, ranging, by the way, from Islamic, from insurance to reinsurance, to investment firms, to banks as well. I'm happy to say also that that success continues. We have a number of institutions coming in from the region that are Islamic, and a major one coming in from Asia that's going to be a large Islamic bank. So we're playing our part.
The desire to attract Islamic finance to the region is continuing to grow. Increased interest in any sector generally drives competition amongst players, motivating them to set themselves apart in their offerings to clients and businesses.
Just in terms of Dubai and DIFC, obviously there are hubs like Bahrain, Qatar, and Riyadh maybe. How does Dubai differentiate, or what's the value proposition for somebody setting up in Dubai as opposed to, let's say, Bahrain or Qatar?
Look, let's start big picture. The reality is that even if you include Saudi, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, this region, when it's fragmented, is a series of small economies. So it's very important for us to cooperate on a regional basis, whether it's Islamic finance or conventional finance. Different markets have different strengths. In Dubai, we have the benefit of really strong soft and hard infrastructure, and the DIFC takes advantage of that, which means that we have global and regional FIs who choose to headquarter out of Dubai. and to tap markets across the region. We hope that the next wave of cooperation, particularly in Islamic finance, also extends to fintech, which I think we all believe passionately is super important, not just for financial services, but for Islamic finance.
We live in an ever more digital era where computing power continues to increase, as does people's uptake of digital devices, in particular smartphones, to conduct their daily lives, including managing their finances. With this evolution, banks have come under mounting pressure from ever-increasing customer demands, pressure from non-bank lenders, and aggressive fintechs who have automated their practices and improved their customer offerings. Banks have no choice but to embrace the evolution or create a revolution within this sphere, otherwise risk losing business.
And tell us a little bit about your future strategy, how you expect to grow Bahrain Islamic Bank.
You know, every bank wants to grow their balance sheet, including us, but I like to think of us as more of a bank that we want to grow digitally. Most conventional banks or normal banks, they take the digital route, but it's usually halfway baked. For us, we are changing the very way we look at digitization. We'd like to be known as a technology company eventually that happens to offer financial services. And so internally we started with our IT department, and we moved this historically support function from the basement in dealing with crash PCs and so on and so forth. Now IT has been, we've turned it upside down. IT is becoming a business enabler. They lead the bank in telling the businesses in the bank which trends are happening, what to implement, and so on and so forth. So right now we are busy as heck converting the bank into a technology thinking type of an institution.
Okay, and what are your main products that you're providing to the customer?
We offer a full service, we offer all the traditional banking products, whether on the consumer side, wealth management, corporate banking, and so on and so forth, treasury services. But back to digitization, the space we are quickly and feverishly working in is offering everything digital to the millennials, and even to old people like me. So we are investing in technologies to help us move into the payment space. Yeah, any movement of funds now, competition is coming to you from non-banking institutions. You want to build your platform and your services with the user experience of the customer in mind. Yeah. So, and this is a big challenge for banks right now.
Currently, Sharia-compliant assets make up just 1% of global financial assets, yet around 1 in 4 of the world's population is Muslim. The potential for growth is significant, and the UK, with the status of forerunner in this sector, is well positioned to capitalise on the demand for Islamic finance and investment.
What we're doing here today is with a specific focus on financial services and Islamic finance. We are encouraging Bahraini businesses or banks to think about investing in the UK, opening an office or premises there to bring jobs to the UK economy and remind people that the UK is the Western leader for Islamic finance in the world. There seems to be great recognition that the UK is a great centre for Islamic finance, and the UK is a credible and the obvious business partner in this area.
The UK opened its doors to Islamic finance over a decade ago. The London Stock Exchange is a key global venue for the issuance of Sukuk and other UK government initiatives to create a level playing field for Islamic institutions, and their clients have established the UK as an attractive destination for Islamic investors.
You were the founder of the Islamic Bank of Britain, which has been rebranded as Rayyan Bank. You are also the founder of the European Islamic Investment Bank, which again has been rebranded Ras Mallah. And even before that, you used to work for the Arab Banking Corporation, which has a significant operation in London. So you made a significant contribution to the finance industry in London and specifically to the Islamic banking industry over a number of years.
Personally, you know that I succeed in establishing two banks in UK. The ones which you mentioned, IBB, Islamic Bank of Britain, and EIIB, which is a European Islamic Investment Bank. And both of them, you know, that we got it in, one is retail bank. When we established IBB, it was in Birmingham as a head office because cost-wise.
Okay, not because it had a big Muslim population.
Well, maybe one of the reasons, but the cost also, we were thinking about it. Okay. And the second one is EIIB, we established it now in London because this is a wholesale bank and that is a retail bank. And I have to admit that we face a lot of challenges because it is a market which is new to us. But I have to also to admit that the regulatory in UK are very good. I mean, really, I mean, they encourage us, they support us, and they provide us with the full support to have these two institutions, you know, go live. Although that, you know, once we establish it, we have the crisis of 2008.
The global financial crisis.
Global finance. But alhamdulillah, these two institutions, they continue as they are.
So you said like the Bank of England was very cooperative and helpful.
Bank of England and the regulator and also the government, because I remember when we started the bank, IBB, it was IBB first, I was facing a lot of difficulties in the law. Okay. And with my contacts with the friends in London as well as in the government, they eliminate all of the problem we were facing, especially the tax. This is something which I always stated. UK, you know, that they go into the subject very deep. They don't accept anything, they don't understand it. They were ahead than any country, including the Muslim countries, okay, whereby their university has been open for high degrees.
Doing research.
Doing a research for master and PhD.
The world of Islamic finance and the wider Islamic economy are composed of a plethora of highly experienced experts. These movers and shakers are recognized in the Islamica 500, a who's who of influential personalities and prominent business leaders that are shaping the Islamic markets.
I'm very pleased to have with me today Professor Laurent Marlier. He's the president and CEO of a company called ISFIN, and they publish this Islamica 500, so we'll talk about that with Laurent. So Laurent, tell us about your company and this Islamica 500.
Well, the Islamica 500 is the first who's who guide of the global leaders of the Islamic economy. Indeed, why that guide? Actually, the Islamic economy is still a nascent part of global industry. And a nascent sector or a nascent industry needs to recognize the most innovative global leaders, because very often the ray of light will be put on companies, but behind the companies you're going to find leaders, and leadership is quite important. So actually what we attempt to do with the Islamica 500 is to have a qualitative survey of the most disruptive, innovative and long-term initiatives being taken within the Islamic economy. Because the idea really is that Islamic finance cannot be an island isolated, an island per se. It has to be connected to the real economy. That's the real challenge.
Estimates of the current size of the Islamic finance market range from $1.66 trillion to $2.1 trillion, with expectations of market size to be $3.4 trillion by the end of 2018. As this industry progresses, some challenges do remain that need to be overcome before Islamic finance can truly flourish.
Brother Abdul Hakim, you're one of the leaders of this Islamic banking industry. Just give us your insights as to how you see the future, where are the growths coming from, and just general health of the Islamic banking industry at this point?
Well, the Islamic banking industry, you know, is not being able to conduct business in the same easy way. I won't say easy, but I'll say the relatively better accommodation given to conventional banks.
The support that's given to conventional banks.
That's mainly because of the infrastructure.
I say sometimes we're swimming in a sea of conventional banking.
Yes, we are in a sea of a conventional banking, and it is not.
And that gives all the challenges to the Islamic bank.
Absolutely, we are not competing in a level playing field, and we would love to have that, and it would be good for people to have the option.
As an industry leader, as a veteran of the industry, what lessons would you say that we need to learn as an industry going forward if you want to continue growing?
You know that to go, I think that, you know, my own philosophy or thinking for the Islamic banking, this product now is needed. You cannot stop it, you cannot hide it, and I think that it works.
Islamic banking has become mainstream.
And in any countries, they should leave the banking, the traditional bank as they are, but they give also the chance to their customers and their clients to choose whether they want these banking activities or they want the Islamic banking activities. Furthermore, now we enter in the digitalization issues, we enter in the fintechs, all these kind of things has been already included in the banking sector.
A lot of interesting developments happen at WIBC, and we're proud that people select WIBC as the main platform for these announcements.
So on behalf of Islam Channel, thank you for selecting us as your media partner, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Great, well thank you so much for
coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, nice meeting you.